The grand castle bustled with life, yet it held a stark contrast. Adanna, a young maid, moved with quiet diligence. Her days were filled with endless chores.
She scrubbed, dusted, and polished. Each corner reflected her hard work.
In another wing of the castle lived the royal family. The king and queen were often away. Their 3 children, however, were ever present. They spent their days in leisurely pursuits.
Laughter echoed through the halls as they played games.
The flicker of the television often lit their faces as they enjoyed cartoons.
Adanna would sometimes steal a glance. She observed their carefree joy. Their lives seemed a world apart. Still, she continued her work. Each day blended into the next.
Her silent service was a constant in the ever-changing rhythm of the castle. Time, like the steady flow of a river, moved forward. The years passed, leaving their mark on everything.
Adanna blossomed from a young girl into a woman. Her youthful innocence matured into quiet strength. She decided to leave the castle walls. It was time to forge her own path.
The royal family, too, experienced change. The king's tenure came to an end. It was time for them to vacate the castle. They packed their belongings.
Their laughter, once echoing through the halls, was now a distant memory.
The castle, once their vibrant home, stood silent and empty. Adanna, released from her duties, stepped into the unknown. She carried with her the values of hard work and perseverance. She was ready to face the world. She was determined to create a life filled with purpose and meaning. Years of hard work bore fruit. Adanna found success. She built a comfortable life for herself. Her past as a maid was a distant memory.
One rainy afternoon, she drove through the bustling city streets. Her heart was light, her thoughts preoccupied with the errands ahead.
Suddenly, her car splashed a puddle. Muddy water sprayed onto the sidewalk. A young woman standing there gasped in shock.
"I am so sorry, I didn't see you there," she exclaimed.
The young woman turned, her face a mixture of annoyance and despair. As their eyes met, Adanna felt a jolt of recognition. The world seemed to shift around her. The woman standing before her, drenched and forlorn, was the king's youngest daughter.
"Your Highness?"
Adanna breathed, her voice filled with disbelief. The once carefree princess, used to the lap of luxury, stood before her, drenched and distressed. The princess, initially taken aback, recognition dawned on her face. Adanna's heart went out to her. Gone was the carefree girl she once knew. The princess looked weary, her clothes simple, her face etched with a sadness Adanna couldn't ignore. The opulence of the castle seemed a world away. S4. Media. Contrast between opulent castle and humble surroundings. Royal reunion in a lavish palace. Adanna, is that really you? The princess hesitated for a moment before accepting. As she settled into the warmth of the car, a wave of relief washed over her. S1. Media. Princess getting into a car, royal entering a luxurious vehicle. Please get in, you're soaked. Let me at least drop you home.
It's just, no one treats you the same when you're no longer royalty. Everyone judges you, looks down upon you. Narrator. Media. Footage of a noble woman feeling judged and looked down upon by society. As they drove, the princess shared her story. Life had taken an unexpected turn. Their fortunes had changed. She spoke of her struggles, of the harsh realities she had faced since leaving the castle. Adanna listened patiently, her heart heavy with empathy.
Adanna listened with a heavy heart. She understood the princess's pain.
"Your Highness, life has a way of humbling us all. True character is not defined by titles or wealth. It's about how we treat others."
Adanna's words, spoken with such quiet conviction, seemed to resonate with the princess. She looked at Adanna, her eyes filled with a mix of emotions. Adanna, once a humble maid within the castle walls, was now a beacon of strength and wisdom. As they reached the princess's modest dwelling, Adanna smiled warmly. S4. Thank you, Adanna. You've given me much to think about.
"Remember, Your Highness, true royalty lies not in your bloodline, but in your heart."
The princess stepped out of the car, her shoulders a little straighter, her eyes shining with newfound hope. Adanna watched her go, her heart filled with a sense of peace. Life had come full circle. She had learned that compassion and kindness were the greatest treasures one could possess. They transcended social barriers, offering solace and hope in a world that often seemed to have forgotten their worth.